everyone, and welcome to the Rival Queen podcast. If you're new here, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're happy
you're here.
Us. And it's Thursday.
It's Thursday, our favorite day of the week. We love you. We're back.
Yeah. And for those of you who aren't new, we are two best friends, basically taking on all the unknown things there that we don't know so we can
learn more. We're discovering the world.
No, we are most squealy selves.
Oh, we're learning how to become our most queenly selves. That is always it. I really missed the cue on that one.
That's like, I thought you'd feel that.
I know. Do you know what? My vibes have been off the last few days because my sleep hasn't been good. So my intuition's been a little foolish.
You're delayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, listen, I'm going to tell you this because this is very embarrassing. Well, our producer is just not doing his job properly in the background. We'll just cut this part out. Everything's been a little delayed on the intuition, my motor skills even. And the other night when I was making dinner for someone, I dropped so much food on myself. I've never been so embarrassed.
Your boobs got it.
Yep. And my shoes, I was actually just like, this is really embarrassing. I'm not normally this messy, but you just need a good, anyways. I missed the cue. We are here to live our most queenly lives. And so you can live your most queenly life too. Oh.
Yeah, and if you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe and maybe share it with a friend. We love getting new people in our community.
New followers.
New listeners, all the things.
Okay, so we just had Easter.
Oh, so much chocolate.
Did you have a lot of chocolate?
I ate a lot of mini eggs, and they're really hard to gauge when you're just having handfuls, and they're so tiny.
And so sweet.
And
oh my gosh.
My mom made like a turtle cheesecake. I had a food hangover after.
Did you? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that bad.
I felt lethargic.
I didn't have, the only mini eggs I had are when I made cookies. Remember the cookies?
Oh my God, I forgot. How could I? Traumatized.
If you follow our Instagrams, every now and again, we've been doing this a lot lately, when we start making video posts about the other person,
yeah.
And then we just respond to each other.
But I thought it was great. I had so many people writing and being like, now we can all rest easy and have a good Easter now that Sarah's delivered the cookies.
I made you mini egg cookies. They were very good.
As per my request.
Per your request, but I took like 3 days to get them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was happy. I took a lot of heat for that.
Well, the thing is, she started the process, which I know you like to chill the batter, prep. So we were on the phone and you were saying how you were getting the cookies ready. Then you prefaced it with saying, like, I'm not making them tonight though. So,
yes.
Damn it. Okay. But then the next night you did I don't know. It was just like a really long process.
It was Friday night. I had people over. I made them. I didn't deliver them to you.
Yeah.
And I was getting heat through Instagram because Ashley was craving the cookies.
Well, I don't eat a lot of sweets, especially not cookies. But when I'm looking forward to a cookie, I'm dreaming about having a cookie. I wanted it that minute. Anyways, but it was fun. Thank you.
I did drop them off at 9:08. I couldn't sleep. I was so stressed. I woke up and I had video messages with people telling me that I was torturing you, which I thought was hilarious.
You were.
Anyways, not those. That was the divide. Team Ashley and Team Sarah became very clear in the community over Cookie Gate.
Very true.
I love that. I do want to. Well, actually, you say what you want to say, and then I'll tell you what I want to tell you.
Okay. Well, I just want to say who we have on the podcast.
Yes, let's do it. It's a beautiful episode.
We have Chris Greene on, who is a celebrity hairstylist in LA. He's here in Halifax right now because of COVID. So we're happy to have him back.
From Kippens, Newfoundland.
Oh yeah, that's right. From Newfoundland.
We have some mutual friends, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it was such a lovely episode, but it made me start thinking about hair and hair. We didn't really talk that much about hair specifically. It's more about Chris's journey to where he got himself to his his life goal in his career at that time, which was in this salon, MèCHE Salon in LA. But it made me start thinking about, we need to talk about our hair trends.
Okay.
Sarah, or our hair. Yours has always been pretty long.
So I'm going to this is perfect. I'm glad you set this up this way. So not last night. This is, Mark just edited this piece out. Anyways, so over Easter, I was at my friend Katie's house for dinner with her family, for Easter dinner. And her father, we have fun banter, I'll say. I make a list of topics actually to bring over. that I know he'll be like incensed about it. So I like to come with a list prepared. Anyways, he's looking at me halfway through the dinner and it's like, have you ever thought of cutting your hair? He's like, it's awful long. He's like, you just go around with your hair like that.
Did Katie tell him to say this to upset you?
But I was also like, have you looked at your daughter whose hair is basically the same length as mine? And he's like, I just like, haven't you ever tried like a bob? Maybe you should just cut it all off. Anyways, I thought that was very funny, but I have had a bob once when I was 15.
Just once?
Yeah, just once, because my hair's curly. It's a lot of work for me to have short hair.
I've had short hair a few times. When I was younger, like probably junior high, I used to do a bob.
Ooh, so stylish.
And then I grew it until probably through high school. I grew it. And then I've cut it since then like a few times, chopped.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. Sometimes I think about it. But something I will not do ever is
Tell
go
us.
dark.
Oh.
Ugh.
Not for you.
No.
I mean, also
like,
not for me.
I did it more like not even ombre. I did darken it slightly. Is that what it's called? Ombre? Yeah. Oh, during COVID, just because I was like, F it. And I think a lot of people were doing that as well because it was just so much more difficult to keep up at the time. But I did it. And every time I looked in the mirror, and it wasn't even that dark.
Oh, yeah.
But I hated it. And Sarah did a beautiful job, my hairdresser, Sarah Arbuckle. But like, I felt I love to be light. So
I'm with you.
Don't let me do that.
Someone once put low lights in my hair brown, and it's the I'll share this with the community. We'll have to post it. There's a photo of me crying, and it's the most pitiful.
Because you didn't like your hair.
Because I was so upset about my hair. I cried for 3 weeks every time I walked past the mirror. Like I'd be at work and I'd start crying.
I can picture that.
And it's like you just gotta go with what you like. I'm not that adventurous with my hair, although I would like to go to Chris to get it cut sometime. But I don't even like cutting my hair anymore. Just longer, more.
Just a little trim here and there. But let's just say that people that are going to see Chris probably are not crying after they leave the salon or leave his chair. That's for sure, because his work is beautiful.
It's so he's incredibly talented. So I'm really excited to have him here in Halifax and to go visit him.
Yeah, if anyone's needing a hairdresser or just wants to go and get like a style, I got a blowout a few weeks ago. It was lovely.
And you can reach Chris at Chris Greene Hair on Instagram, and Greene has an E. And we'll have it in the show notes, so you can actually like go follow his work, book in with him if you want. Send him a DM.
He'd love to hook you up.
So I have a question. If you had to dye your hair any other color, what would you dye it?
Dye it? Well, I usually just highlight it, but
I know.
You mean just like change colors? I think I'd go with like a really, really strong strawberry blonde.
What? Oh my God. Are you more? I feel like we're morphing together as one human.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have pictured that for you.
What would you think?
But now,
what are the other options?
Well, you said you didn't like brown, so that's fair. And I don't know what the other options
I feel just so washed out in darker hair.
But I just can't see you in a strawberry blonde. I could see
I did that one.
Maybe a cool red.
I used to, Chris will probably kill us for saying this, but I did it. Well, I used to use Sun-In, but I used to use, at the drugstore, there were these packages. It was like a squishy package, and it was like a semi-permanent. And I actually have a picture. It's on my parents, or was growing up on our wall. It was the picture of Greg and I just like side by side. I think he was graduating from high school. My hair was pretty much like a strawberry blonde, but I dyed it myself.
I want to see this.
I've only
photo.
done that like
Susan,
twice in my life.
Can you please send this to me?
Yeah, we look like it's the days of our lives because we both have black on, and the back is like dark too, and all you can see is like our head and our hair. And I remember I hated that photo so much, but my mom was like, "Oh, but your brother looks really good in this one," because I didn't want to pick that one. But she was like, "Oh, well, Greg looks good,
and he's graduating, so
he may have had like frosted tips at that time too." I'm gonna
Greg. Oh, I love that. I'm with you. I do dye my hair strawberry blonde quite often.
It's more blonde now though.
Yeah, no, now. It is. But I would dye it red.
I like you. Years ago when we first met, it was redder.
I had red hair. I would do that. Ooh, my voice is going in there. I would do like a real bright red, I think.
Like your mom?
Like an orangey red if I needed to. That would be the color.
I'd do it.
Well, no, I'm not going to. I like blonde on me, but if I had to, that's what I would do.
Well, something I think it was Jacqueline LaRue telling us years ago, maybe it was someone else, but let's go with that. Is she said that just like stick to what looks good on you. If you feel
Yes.
comfortable, you don't need to go into the salon every time and be like, I want to cut my hair, I want to change my hair color. Do what makes you happy.
It makes you shine.
Makes you shine and feel like your best self.
I love that. So this episode with Chris is absolutely lovely.
So good.
It's such a nice story. It's just like a beautiful story. He talks about, as Ash said, his journey from Kippens, Newfoundland, all the way to LA. And really kind of, he had this feeling in his gut he wanted to go there. And it's really just beautiful to hear the steps that he kind of always was thinking about. Okay, what's next? Now, how do I do this? What's next? And
just really like put himself out there too.
Yeah. And that's one of the things he said. He's like, you have to tell people what you're trying to do. And so he would always share his next step with people, which was so cool to listen how he got to doing like TV shows. And then also there were so many moments that just seemed like meant to be.
Absolutely. And even stories I hear from him and stuff, I'm like, wow, like his life is he works so hard and works a lot, but like it's such a cool life and industry.
He loved it. And so unique to think. Well, and I think for anyone, it's always like inspirational to hear someone kind of sets their mind to something and how they make that happen. And also just, you know, the magical moments that come along with it. Oh, feels so good in the heart.
So good. It is a great story. Well, we hope you enjoy. Should we dive in?
Let's dive right in.
All right, we are so excited to have Chris Greene joining us in the studio today. My neighbor.
Yes.
Yay.
Welcome.
We were actually just talking about the Queen's Mark because Sarah recently came over and enjoyed the spa.
Yeah.
You guys are so lucky.
She's going to move in.
I'm coming. Oh, you know, I'm just going to actually move in with Chris.
You'd have fabulous hair all the time.
Yeah.
You'd have so much fun.
Are you looking for a roommate to live in? Who's me?
No, there's not a ton of room. Not a ton of room. But thank you for having me, by the way.
Yeah, we're so excited. So it's really interesting. I've followed you for a long time because we do have like some mutual friends, like and you used to work with my friend Sarah Arbuckle at Thumpers, which is the hair salon in Halifax. How many years ago would that have been?
Like 12?
Wow.
12 or 13 years ago. And I did your brother's hair.
Yeah. Well, don't even get Sarah started on Greg's hair because she's so into it.
Have you seen his hair lately?
Love it.
I am with you.
Great hair.
He had it back in a ponytail the other day,
flow.
and I took like 20 photos.
Yeah.
I went home and looked at them.
Yeah.
And was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Sarah's really feeling that.
I was really feeling the long hair. I'm glad that you're with me on this one, Chris.
Yeah. I support it.
You know, he has hair still, so maybe just like embrace it while it's
100%.
not that he's going to lose it. Like, let's not say that, but you know what I mean. Guys,
Work it while you got it.
work it
While you got it.
But you've been on so Chris is a professional hairstylist, for those of you who don't know, and you've kind of had so many different journeys from city to city.
Yeah.
And more recently, you were in LA, right?
Yes.
But now you're back.
Yeah. The last 6 years I was in LA. Yeah.
And working with some very fancy people too, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
I mean, no better place to do that.
No. Yeah. It was good.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So you gave me the most fabulous blowout the other day. I was so excited because, you've touched, like Sarah just said, celebrities' hair. I'm like, okay, yeah. My hair's going to be good if Chris is like being hooked up by all these salons.
You're a future celebrity.
Well, you have great hair, so it's
Thank you.
not hard. Yeah.
We both have a lot of hair.
You both
We're
do.
lucky.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at Ashley's hair when we were out the other night for dinner, thinking it looked fabulous, and that was
I
right
did get
after.
a lot of compliments. Yeah, I did get a lot of compliments.
Sweet.
So
I like
thank
that.
you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah, I wish I could just come on a regular basis because Sarah and I talk about that. How there's girls that you've experienced that
Totally.
don't wash their hair.
No. Yeah.
We want to be in that club.
How do we get there? No, that's not what today's conversation is about.
No, but we wanted to discuss kind of like your journey on going from, you told me, which was such a fabulous story when you were doing my hair about kind of like, I said, how did you end up in LA at this salon, like Sarah mentioned, that's like filled of really high profile clients. And like you started in Newfoundland, then Halifax, Toronto, LA.
And Stephenville, Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chris and I are just reminiscing about our shared connections.
Yeah. So can you tell us kind of about like where you were more recently at that salon, like what that's called?
Yeah.
Tell us.
So I was at MèCHE Salon in Beverly Hills.
Whoa, we're just going to be like in awe this whole time. I can already feel it.
No, it's a really busy salon. I think someone said it was the most busy salon in North America.
Wow.
It's a happening place. It's owned by Tracy Cunningham, who's a celebrity colorist, and Neil Weisberg, and he cuts hair, and they're business partners, and they opened this salon together. I think they opened it maybe 2 years before I got there. Prior to that, they both had their own salons in Beverly Hills, and they were both quite busy and happening places. And so it's a busy salon. I worked there 4 days a week. The other 3 days I did house calls, which is going to the clients' houses and doing their hair.
So that's 7 days a week. You're doing
7
hair.
days a week. Yeah,
Wow.
all the time. It was really busy. It was good. Ask me questions. I don't really know.
No, I mean, like, the reason
hustle
we're
and
so
bustle.
excited to hear this is because I feel like as a hairstylist, it's, that is the place to be when you are in like
Yeah.
LA, Beverly Hills. You're
Yeah.
working with, everyone is so glam there. You've got celebrities coming through the salon. You've got,
Well, fashion's such a big thing there. I feel like, especially in LA or
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, like you're going out, like you're probably not going out like Sarah and I. Most
Well,
people.
no, there are lots of yoga clothes. Lots of, not that you're wearing yoga clothes,
Well, I'm pretty cash today
but no, there's everything. There's
because I'm picturing you
Lululemon
like,
to Gucci and Prada
Yeah.
and Fendi and everything else under the sun. And it is kind of fun. Like if there was a new bag or shoe out, it's like you would definitely see it that week at the salon, which was kind of cool. And I used to say to my girlfriends back home, like there'd be 6 or 7 shampoo bowls all in a row. And it was just like a fashion show, like the clothes and the jewelry and the bags and shoes. And it's kind of cool.
So like even just going to the salon, you need to like, bring your A game a little bit because you never know.
I think some women did for sure. Yeah.
It could have like a
love
reality
that.
show.
Oh yeah, it could have a reality show.
I actually think that would be a fabulous reality show,
Yeah.
just to watch the clients coming through the salon. That would be so fun. So I have a question. So you started in Stephenville,
Yes,
Newfoundland.
in Kippens. Is where
In
I'm from.
Kippens.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Newfoundland, which is a small town.
Yeah.
Now you're at one of the busiest salons in North America.
Yeah.
How did you, in Stephenville, like, was that your vision from the beginning?
Yeah, it kind of was.
Or in Kippens, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, it definitely was. I didn't know what salon or where, but I knew I wanted to be sort of in the center of it, of pop culture and movies and music and things like that. Growing up, I was obsessed with pop culture, me and my girlfriends, and watching the latest Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera music video or performance or doing the VMAs or the MTV Awards. And so I was always obsessed with all that stuff. And then when it was time, do you want me to tell my story?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so good. I want you to.
When it was time to go away to university, I was sort of like, I don't really know if that's for me. I wasn't super academic in high school, but I was very social and I loved like chatting with people, and I was very creative and I was into the arts and things like that. And so I had said to my parents, like, hey, I'm thinking maybe I'll go to hair school. I was also doing my friends' hair in high school.
So you were like drawn to it.
Yeah, I was
naturally.
always sort of like my friend Marsha. I would always color her hair and cut her hair. And I've had some, bad haircuts on other friends and things like that. Anyway, I was always doing everyone's hair. And I was like, I'm thinking maybe I'll go to hair school, And my parents were very supportive, which was lovely. And I came to Halifax to hair school right out of high school. Graduated in 2001 and moved to Halifax. My parents got me a little bachelor's apartment on Queen Street. And I went to the Hair Design Center when it was on Dresden Row. And I did my hair school and really enjoyed it. And when I got out of hair school, I got a job at the Aveda Salon on Spring Garden Road. It was Life Salon.
Yes.
That's where I wanted to work. It was the new salon in town, and it was all shiny and glass and beautiful. And
Smells amazing.
Yeah, so I got a job there and started going away and taking training with Aveda, which was fun. It kind of, let me travel a little bit and learn new things and get out there. And from there, I worked at the Aveda Salon for 4 years, and like I said, took a lot of classes and things like that. And then I moved down to Thumper's Salon, which was another popular salon.
Which was like the salon, I feel like.
It was, was like
Halifax.
It was a hot spot in Halifax
It
for
was
sure.
busy.
Yeah,
it was a big
busy.
salon.
Yeah, it was carrying Bumble and Bumble from New York when there was no Sephora,
Newer,
so things
yeah.
were hard to get. And yeah, it was a cool spot for sure. Beautiful salon.
So nice. It doesn't exist, the original one anymore,
No,
but it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
It was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 stories. It was lovely. And so then I worked there for 4 years. And during that time, I was sort of what they called the in-salon coach. So I would go away to New York, take training at Bumble and Bumble, and then come back to Halifax and teach it to the fellow colorists and stylists at the salon. And that was lovely as well. And then I got to go to New York a lot, and that was really exciting to me. It was also the time of Perez Hilton and Just Jared. And so like paparazzi shots were becoming popular, and you kind of knew where celebrities went and where they got their hair done and where they shopped. And that was really exciting to me. So I did a bunch of that. And it was around that time when Perez Hilton and Just Jared was all happening that I was like really into celebrity stuff. And it was the Olsen twins and Lindsay Lohan and Nicole Richie and like shopping at Kitson, like all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I started realizing like, oh, these people don't live in New York really. They all live in LA. This is where they're getting their hair done. And so I was like, I need to be in LA. I was also obsessed with Ken Pavis, who I'm still obsessed with.
Do you remember him, Sarah?
No, who is this?
Yeah, Ken Pavis he is a celebrity hairstylist. He was Jessica Simpson's best friend and, went on tour with J-Lo, and he did everyone's hair. He was the guy.
He was like the, oh yeah, okay. Anyways, I was going to make a,
You know who?
I don't know who
Sarah's
this
not like
person
I'm
is.
very into pop
Yeah.
culture and like all this. This guy.
I've never seen this human before.
But they
in my
were
life,
like besties, the two of them, and like he was kind of the one of the first more like well-known celeb hair on the scene.
There were more celebrity hairdressers before him, but it was the time of what do you call that? Like celebrity blogs and paparazzi shots. And so yes, he would have probably been the first that was getting his picture taken every other day with his clients,
Yeah.
So I loved him, and I was like, I want to work for Ken Pavis. I want to work for Ken Pavis. And so just through chance, I was in my building in the South End here in Halifax with my friend, and we bumped into this guy that lived in my building, and they knew each other. And so then I'm a friendly guy. So then I would see this guy in the elevator, and we'd chat a little bit. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a hairstylist. What do you do? Oh, I go to film school in LA. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want to move to LA one day. And he was like, yeah, cool. And then the wheels were turning in my head that I wanted to work with Ken Pavis, but I didn't know how to do that being from a small town in Newfoundland, working for the last like 6 or 7 years in Halifax. Like I was like, I don't really have an edge. I don't know how I'm going to get his attention or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I came up with the idea that I would make him a video of me doing hair, and then I would send it to him to his salon. And so we did just that. So Andrew Hines is his name. He's a film producer now, and he makes music videos and things in LA. Cool. Anyway, he's from the Valley, and we made this video, and it was insane, guys. Like, I'm in awe of your setup here. It's like really profesh and cool. He did the same thing with my little video. Like he rented a dolly, which is like a track that goes on the floor, and then the like video camera like came around me on the when I was doing hair. It was like amazing.
Do you still have this video?
I do. I have not watched it. I'm sure I would cringe
for old time's sake.
But it was done very beautifully. Anyway, made the video, sent it to Ken Pavis in the mail. It was only email then. There was no Instagram. There was no any of these things. And so I sent it to him, and it got his attention, which I was like, could not believe. And got an email back. And anyway, I got an interview at his salon. So I flew to LA from Halifax.
Yeah. Just, can we pause this for 1 second? What year was this?
Oh God, I don't even know. 2007?
Okay.
8? I don't know.
Because like right now that seems normal because we live in the Instagram world and video world.
Yeah.
But like the ingenuity of that, like how the hell did you come up with that?
Well, no, I just knew I needed to do something out of the box. You know what I mean? Like I was like, how am I going to get the attention of someone that's on tour with J-Lo? You know what I mean? Like
Totally. Oh,
Very smart. Very smart.
so good. Okay, keep going. I'm like in awe. I think that's so cool.
if you want the little details, it was in a brown like CD case. It was like brown paper. And this artist I knew in Halifax named Ray Fenwick, he drew rose, like vines with roses all over the box, and Ken's salon in LA is covered in rose bushes. So I was very attention to it was
smart.
But that's like those are the things that make the difference, I think.
And totally, that's why I bring it up. It's like it was beyond perfect. You know what I mean? Like I was like, if I'm going to do this, you only have one chance. Well, you don't have one chance. You have lots of chances. But I was like, I want to
stand out.
I want to hit this on the head. Yeah. So yeah.
Holy crap. Amazing.
So I got the interview, flew to LA, dropped my bags at the hotel, and went right from the motel to the hair salon. I was so nervous. Ken was actually on tour with J-Lo at the time.
Oh my God.
Of course.
So I met with his business partner at the time and met with him, and we had a big chat and just told him all about myself and what my career goals were and all those things. And it went really well. And he showed me around the salon and introduced me to everybody and things like that. And then kind of ended the interview like you would, and it was all good. And I was excited and hopeful. Then I spent a couple of days in LA and just sort of bopped around to the different salons and shopped a little bit and that stuff. It was also before Instagram and all those things. So it was also, I didn't really know too much or know the lay of the land.
Where you were going.
Yeah, exactly. So I did my thing and then I came back home. That was probably in like October or November. And then in December, I didn't hear anything for a while. And I was kind of getting discouraged. And I was like, I don't know. Well, I reached out a few times. Anyway, I got an email back that basically explained that their business manager was sort of, or I forget who, but basically they didn't want to get into sponsorship, like getting me a visa, which I totally understood. And through the process, I always knew that was in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like I may not be able to move forward with this because I am not American. I can't really work in America being a Canadian. You know what I mean? Like it's tough.
That was a roadblock.
It was a roadblock for sure. Yeah. And so I was bummed. But I, kept trucking. I worked in Halifax for another year, but I knew I wanted to be in LA. I've said to my parents before, it's like, I don't know. There's just something inside me that I need to be there. You know what I mean?
I love that feeling.
Yeah. And so a confusing feeling.
Why was it confusing for you?
Because I was like, why?
How am I going to get?
I was more like, why? I'm like, things are great here and things are going amazingly, but there was just something in me that just knew I needed to be there or to experience it, And so I worked in Halifax for another year, and then I moved to LA as a visitor, wink, wink.
Right.
You're allowed to go for 6 months
That's right.
and you're not in trouble, And so my parents are just so amazing. They supported me the whole way through. I packed up my apartment here in Halifax and shipped everything home to Newfoundland. Then I got on a flight and I flew to LA and I rented the tiniest apartment you've ever seen in your life in West Hollywood.
How tiny?
Like it had
Tell her about the kitchen.
It had a futon and then it had a refrigerator. It's like there was no kitchen sink, there was no stove, there was no oven.
Crazy.
There was nothing. There was a bathroom and a room with a bed. It was like teensy tiny.
So you were just, there's no...
It was a place
There
to
was
sleep.
No sink? There's no kitchen sink.
There was no kitchen sink.
There's
So
a sink
if
in the
I
bathroom.
washed, if I, I would go to Whole Foods and get some food to eat and like pre-made food and whatever, and I'd eat it. And then I'd have to wash the cutlery in the bathroom sink. It was insane. It was crazy.
This is like a dorm room.
Yeah, very much.
No.
I've never, I guess
Did
I've
you
never,
see it before
lived
you moved in, or was it like
just on Skype
Okay.
or whatever it was at the time?
So
Again, all that was really new.
True.
There was still no social media.
Oh my God, Chris, I love this.
I'll tell you, I lived in that small apartment and I went to all the salons that were on my list. You know what I mean? It was like the Kem Pavis salon, Andy LeCompte salon, Neil George salon, Byron and Tracy salon. Those were the ones that were on my list. Actually, Kem Pavis salon wasn't so much on my list at that point because I knew the sponsorship was going to be a thing. And I was like, I just got to go for the other ones and see if anyone bites,
Yeah.
So I made a cover letter in my resume and I went to all those salons and I was so nervous. I always tell everyone this, I would bring a bottle of water with me and I would take a mouthful and then I would hide the bottle in the shrubs outside the salon. And then I would go in because my throat was just I was so nervous. You have to remember, I'm a hairstylist. That's what I studied right out of high school. And so for me, this was the Mecca. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was it would be I don't know what, an actor going for the audition for an Oscar movie, or you know what I mean? Like it was just
or like
like
a Broadway.
yeah,
play.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was like the biggest thing for me.
Well, and you were finally there. It's like
Yeah.
now this is reality. Maybe I'm going to get a job.
Chasing
or
your dream.
Yeah.
I was chasing it. So I went in, I dropped off my resume, did all the things. No one really paid any attention to me. It was also during the recession, so people were a little bit like, oh God, why do you want to move to America? Or like, oh, you're looking for a job now? Like people aren't even really getting their hair done as much as they used to be. You know what I mean? It was kind of a crappy timing. So I would drop off my resume. I'd go in, I'd see if anyone was interested. And I would do anything too. I would sweep the floor. I would shampoo hair. I didn't need to start doing hair, like I would start from the bottom and work my way up. I just knew I wanted to be there and try my best. No one took the bait. I sort of set my sights on Andy Lecomte Salon. That was like the hot spot at the time of the moment. And so I went back there over and over again, and I'm sure I annoyed the front desk people, whatever. And nothing was happening. And this one day I thought, I'm going to try something different. And so I called the salon from my apartment on a landline.
I love this.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to be really casual and ask for the owner. So it was owned by Andy Lecomte and this lady named Leanne. I think her last name is Citron. Anyway, I called and I knew Andy was busy. He does Madonna and a ton of people. And
Just
so
a few notable people.
Leanne is sort of more like in-house. She was always there. And I had seen her a few times when I went in and dropped off my resume. Never talked to her, but just sort of saw her working, which was also exciting to me. So I called the salon and someone answered the phone and I just said, hey, is Leanne there? And they went, yeah, one sec. And they gave the phone to her and I was like, oh my gosh, it worked. Anyway, she got on the line and I basically was like, hi, my name is Chris Greene. I dropped off my resume a couple of times. I'm from Canada. I would love to work at your salon, assisting, doing anything. Would you ever meet me for 3 minutes just so I could sort of explain who I am? And she was like, I think she was also like,
how did you get me on the phone right now?
Yeah, totally. I don't know. And also I really believe in my journey so far that things happen for a reason.
Totally.
And it was just sort of like, she was just sort of like, yeah. She's like, are you free now? Like, could you come down to the salon? And I was like, yes, I'll be there. And again, there was no Uber. So I had to get a taxi, which is hard to do in LA, but I got one. And I went to the salon, so nervous, and talked with Leanne for maybe like 30, 40 minutes and just sort of explained my story. And she was so lovely and gracious and gave me the time, And I think there was also a little part of her that was like, you're crazy. She's like, I can't believe you're
just
here.
Called and asked for me.
And also like that you're here alone in Los Angeles, like this young guy who knows nothing about California and you're just here to try to get a job. You know what I mean? I think she sort of like liked that.
Yeah.
So she introduced me to everyone at the salon and basically explained, this is how it works at my salon that I'm currently at in Los Angeles called MèCHE. It's like the stylist hires their own assistant. It doesn't go through the salon. And so that's kind of tough, right? Because it's like, you don't know these stylists and they don't know you. It's like, how are you supposed to get a job? It's kind of tough. And so she was so sweet. She walked me around the salon and introduced me to everyone. Like, hey, this is Chris. Basically kind of like putting me out there so if anyone was interested in using me, they could. Long story short, a girl there did. Her name was Liz Devon, and she started like using me to help her assist a little bit here and there, which was lovely and so exciting for me. I will say, not to like take away the sparkle of everything, but it was my first experience in realizing a very nice lesson that I learned, which is that it's how do I say this? It's not as fabulous as you may think when you're in Newfoundland or Nova Scotia. It's like, at some point a hair salon is a hair salon.
Right.
And it's like they're highlighting hair and cutting hair and it's kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like it was a tough pill for me to swallow, but it was one that I needed to learn. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know how to articulate that or say that. Like, it's like, it was.
Well, it's probably like you're getting your dream and then you get there and you're like, oh, wait, this is what I was doing.
Exactly. It was exactly a bit of that. Mind you, there are lots of sparkly, special, fabulous moments.
Extra time. Yeah.
But like, in the story, but like in the salon, it's like, it's a salon and it's a working salon,
Someone told me that once that worked in TV, that they're like, it's not that glamorous being on TV. You think it is, and it's cut and edited to be, but they're like, it's not.
Totally, yeah.
So I feel like that's
what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the start of that sort of lesson. You know what I mean? That I was like, okay, this is like, surprisingly normal.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was great. Anyway, within that salon, I didn't have my California state license, which you need to have, which I'm like pretty good at planning and knowing what's coming my way and stuff. And it's like, I couldn't believe that I didn't think of that. It's like, I knew I needed a work visa. I knew I needed to live there, but it's like, I didn't really think that I needed a California cosmetology license. I don't know why that's so silly of me.
Right.
It just sort of, there were so many other things that I just didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you don't know, if you don't have a California state license, you can't really touch anyone's head in the salon. It's like, it's like liability and stuff. So anyway, with that said, they didn't really realize it either. And then we all sort of realized it and we were all sort of like, oh, shouldn't really be here. And it was okay because it had taken a long time to get into that salon. So my 6 months were sort of coming to an end. My parents and my brother and his now wife had a trip planned to Vegas, which I wanted to attend. So I was sort of like, you know what? It's all good. It's like, I'm going to hang out with my family. My friends are going to come visit towards the end of this trip. My time is ending in LA. It's all good. I was also like, sort of also having that feeling of like, it's not that different. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was all good. I was just feeling.
You get a taste.
You were feeling like you had pursued your.
Yeah, like I was like, you know what? That's good. Been there, seen it. I wasn't done, but I was like, this is okay.
Right.
And I was also bummed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dang it, I didn't get a work visa from this salon or didn't meet anyone who like whisked me away to like work with them or whatever. But it was all good. And so I did my thing and then I was time to come back to Canada. So I came back to Canada, but I thought, I did the 6 months in LA. There was still that thing inside me that wanted to end up in LA. So I was like, I should go somewhere bigger to kind of like use it as a stepping stone to get back to California. And so I was like, I'll go to Toronto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew a few people in Toronto, not a lot of people, but a few people. One person that we know in common.
I know.
Yeah, my friend Glenda. Who has the most amazing hair. And so
she's the best.
Yeah.
Greg used to date her.
I do know this.
We love Glenda. Anyway, okay, so I moved to Toronto and I'm in my condo. Is this too long?
This is beautiful. Yeah. I'm like loving this.
No.
Okay. I moved to Toronto and I get this gorgeous condo down in St. Lawrence Market. Like, I don't even know how I got it. It was so beautiful. And it had this beautiful little den area. And so, before that. So I knew two girls from Halifax that had gone to law school here. And they had graduated and moved to Toronto. And so they saw that now Facebook was a thing. So they saw on Facebook that I was in Toronto and they were like, oh my goodness, you're in Toronto. Where are you working? I want to come get my hair done. And I wasn't working at a salon yet. It was like the first week I got there. And I said, but I'm happy to do your hair in my condo if you don't mind. And I kind of thought like, maybe I want to do a little bit of hair out of my condo. I'd never done that before. So I got a hair chair and set up a little like studio set up in my condo. And the girls started coming and getting their hair done. And you know what it's like. You do one person's hair and then their friend sees it or their coworker sees it. And it's like, oh my gosh, where'd you get your hair done? I'd love to get my hair done by you. And then these girls would be shopping at Holt Renfrew and someone would be like, oh, I love your blonde. Who did your blonde? And then, oh, Chris Greene. And then I built a clientele kind of fast, which was surprising.
Word of mouth.
And I kept working out of my condo. So basically these girls would be like, oh my gosh, a girl at my work wants to get her hair done by you. Is that okay? And I'd say, it's totally fine as long as she knows she's coming to my condo and she'll be getting her hair washed in my kitchen sink. You know? and no one cared. It was like very chill. I don't know. Anyway, so I built a really great clientele in Toronto. And it was during that time Instagram had just come on the scene. And I was taking pictures and posting them on my Instagram account. So I was doing all that, but I knew I needed more than that to get back to America. And I was like, I need to work in television because television is going to be what's going to get me to LA. I just had a feeling. And so I wrote a bunch of people, like emails in Toronto. I wrote like Jessie Cruikshank, who was doing the after show, the MTV after show. And I wrote Leah Miller. I just loved her hair. Do you know, she was the MTV VJ.
I know who she is.
Yeah.
Look her up.
Yeah. Leah Miller.
Blonde.
Yeah. Blonde, gorgeous. And then she hosted So You Think You Can Dance. And she just had like the ombre was like the thing. And she had like a very aggressive ombre and it was just amazing. I was very into her look. And so I wrote her a bunch of times, never heard anything back. So I got this idea that I would record So You Think You Can Dance on my PVR or DVR, whatever you call it. I recorded the show and then I paused it on the credits to find out who was doing her hair. And it was this guy named Hanouk. And so then I scoured the internet until I found him on Facebook and I wrote him a message and I basically just said, hey, Hanouk, my name is Chris Greene. I'm from the East Coast of Canada, just did a stint in LA. I'm new to Toronto. I noticed you're doing Leia's hair for So You Think You Can Dance. Would you ever meet me for coffee just to sort of shed some light on the industry? Like I would love to maybe one day be doing those types of things. And he, again, like, you know, when stars align and things are just meant to be, it's like he wrote me back and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll meet you for a coffee. So we met for a coffee and he kind of took me under his wing. We never really saw each other in real life, but if he ever had like a pro bono job, like say it was like 4 girls for a Smirnoff thing at the Eaton Center that need their hair done, he would ask if I wanted to do it. And of course I would say yes, because I wanted to do it and I wanted to just get myself out there and do those things. And you're never supposed to say no, you know, to things like that. So I did it. And then I was working at my condo and I was doing little things here and there for Hanouk. And this one day he calls me and he's like, Chris, I just did a photo shoot for Leah Miller for So You Think You Can Dance. And I was talking to the producer and she wants to meet you. And I was like, oh my God. So he got me an interview at the show. So I was so excited, so nervous, all the emotions. And it was the next day. He's like, can you go down to the studio the next day? And I was like, yeah, sure. Of course I can. And
I love you. You're just like, yes, I'm ready.
Listen, I was ready. You know what I mean? Like I had to be ready. And so I went to the studio and I was, again, so nervous, always nervous. And I did the interview with this lady named Teresa Dayot, who is so lovely. But at the time, she really scared me. She was like a little lady with a big bark. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like she was the TV producer. She was like in charge and she grilled me. And I remember I remember the interview was like tough. She grilled me. And I remember my mom said to me something about like, she was like, don't let people like that grill you about hair. It's like, you know about hair. Like, it's like, you know, like, listen, if she was grilling me about television monitors, maybe. But like, my mom would say, you know about hair. You know what I mean? Like, don't let that intimidate you.
And this TV producer does not.
Oh, exactly. And I've taken that with me. Like, and I'm like,
such good advice from your mother.
Yeah. And I think it all the time, even with clients, you know, when they're like, I don't know if you know, but sometimes they're like, you know, like, I just wanted to, and it's like, I know about hair.
Yeah, my sister says that. She's a makeup artist. And she said, like, people will come and be like, I really just want this look. And she struggles with that piece because she's like, I know. Yeah. Then I look at your eye shape. I look at like 100. How your face is framed. Like that's not going to give you the effect you want. Like exactly.
You understand. Yeah. So anyway, she scared the hell out of me. But it was all good. At the end of the interview, I thought I aced it. You know what I mean? Like I answered all her questions and I felt like I was very prepared. At the end of the interview, she basically said to me, we're fully staffed here, but if you never know when we might need an extra set of hands, and anybody that Hanouk speaks as highly of as you, I wanted to meet. So she was very nice and gracious and, you know, but I did not get the job. And so I left and I was all bummed out and I had that same feeling as the Ken Pavis salon feeling where I was like, dang it, I get like this close, but then I don't really get it. But I thought, you know what, whatever. I still got the interview and that's good. And
make the connection.
You know, trying to always think of the positives. And it was maybe a week or two later, I was at my condo. It was like a Saturday morning. I was doing a highlight on a client and Teresa called me, the producer, and she said, Chris, someone called in with a migraine. Can you come in and save us? And I was like, wow, oh my gosh, yes, of course I can. I will. To backtrack a little bit, I will say when I moved to Toronto, even when I was in Halifax, I always say to people, like, you need to let everybody know what you want because you just never know who's going to be the person that's like, oh, I have an uncle that's a celebrity hairdresser. Like, no, but you know what I mean? Like, you just never know who's going to know who
and
that
you'll
can
pop
help
into
you.
their brain.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ashley always says that. That's so true.
Yeah. And so with that said, when I got the call for the interview the job to go in that day, I called my next client and said like, hey, I just got the call that I can go to So You Think I'm going to go to So You Think You Can Dance to fill in. It's like everyone knew I wanted to work in television, so nobody was surprised. Like the client was instantly like, "Oh my gosh, go! That's so exciting. That's what you want." You know, like
rebook me. Like
yeah. Exactly. And it also worked out so well that I worked from home, so I was so flexible. Like I didn't have to tell a salon manager that I was leaving that afternoon. Like it worked out perfect. Anyway. I went in that day. I filled in. I was terrified as always, but I did great, and I guess I did well enough that they invited me back again and again. I definitely made sure that that's what I wanted.
I'm available.
Yeah,
wink.
yeah. So I said to the key hairstylist at the end of the day, like, "Hey, thank you so much for having me. It means the world to me. It's why I moved to Toronto, was to do things like this." And I think that kind of touched her. She was like, "Wow, that's crazy." You know what I mean? And I said, "If you ever need me again, please call." And she said, "Well, one of the girls is going to a wedding next weekend. Can you fill in next Friday or Saturday?" And I said yes. And so then I came back and did it again. And they really liked the way I did the hair as well. And so I got invited back. And basically, long story short, I went and never left. You know, I filled in and got hired and did all the days. And
so cool.
Yeah, and then from there I got more shows in Toronto. Like when those production companies would do another show, they would usually like secure the whole team beforehand. And so I would just get secured for the next show and things like that, and kind of worked my way up, which was great. And during that time, I was also starting to do celebrities when they would come to town for TIFF or for different things.
Yeah.
Not big ones. It would be the ones that don't have a glam squad. You know what I mean? So it'd be like
they're showing up being like, I need someone to
I
do my hair.
I need hair and makeup. Gosh, like what are their names? It's this girl from Vikings. She's blonde.
Yes. Okay.
I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. It seems like once you're in, you're kind of like in, and your name's passed around in the industry.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly
So did you feel a little bit of joy then? Like,
Oh yeah, I felt proud. Like I patted myself on the back. You know what I mean? Like I was getting, I was making traction.
Put
and
you forward.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this so much.
Yeah, so I, Catherine Winnick.
I was like, is it Catherine Winnick? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
And there were a few other girls too like that, and they're lovely. So I'm at the Shangri-La Hotel doing one of those press junkets with someone from out of town. And I'm there with a makeup artist, and her name is Dee Daly, and she lived in Toronto. And we're sitting on the edge of the bathtub while the girls in the next room like answering all the questions for Entertainment Tonight Canada or whatever. Oh, we just
so fun.
Chat.
Yeah.
And Dee's something. I'm moving to LA, And I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to move to LA. Like that's my goal. You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, do you have an immigration lawyer? And I had said to her like, I don't. I've talked to a few immigration lawyers, but they're these like older white dudes who just don't really understand my career and my goals and things like that, you know? And she's like, oh, I've got the immigration lawyer for you. You have to work with my immigration lawyer, which is true. I did have to, and she is amazing. So if anyone's ever looking for an immigration
lawyer, someday, maybe.
Yeah, totally. If anyone's ever looking for an immigration lawyer, slide into my DMs and I can like hook you up with Lorraine. Her name's Lorraine D'Alessio, and I always explain who she is because it's really like a good part of the story.
Yeah.
She is from Toronto, so she's Canadian, which is great. She understands Canadians wanting to work in America. She's an ex-Ford model, turned immigration lawyer, married to a TV producer, living in Beverly Hills.
Oh, so she knows.
She
and the
knows.
connections.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she's got like, I don't know what her success rate is. I say it's like 100% success rate because that's what I kind of thought it was, and I think it is. It's like basically her deal is she will take you on as a client if she thinks you can get your visa. You know what I mean? Like she's not going to lead you on and things like that. And she's also so great that say someone needed an immigration lawyer but was missing like a little integral piece of the process, she would then sort of help you or coach you to get that piece. So say I hadn't been working in television, she would sort of say like, hey, Chris, with everything that you have under your belt, I think it'd be really great if you could sort of get some TV exposure or work on a television show. And then, then at least you know what you need to get to get your visa.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I started working with Lorraine, and it was during that time I was working in television, and I was also posting a lot on my Instagram with the help of our friend Glenda, who has the most beautiful hair. And it was also, Instagram wasn't super saturated. So it's like, there were like, I wouldn't say a handful of hairstylists on there, but there were definitely like, there were
not like now.
Yeah, there were, there were just a bunch of us. Anyway, and so I was posting these beautiful pictures from my condo, and I was communicating with everyone that worked at MèCHE and all these other salons in LA and all over the world. And Tracy Cunningham, who's a celebrity colorist who owns MèCHE Salon, she started following me, which was like the hugest deal.
Did you have a meltdown the day that she followed you?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I screenshotted it.
Amazing.
And I was just so excited. She is like God.
The queen.
Yeah, she is the queen.
Of hair.
And she's still the queen. And so she started following me, and she would comment on these pictures of Lisa. My friend Lisa has beautiful hair, Lisa and Glenda. And I remember she commented on this one picture, and I wrote back and said, like, thank you for the compliment. That means so much coming from you. And she wrote me back and she said, yeah, if you're ever in LA, come by and say hello. And I just took that and ran with it. I was like, well, there's my invitation. And so I actually did take that and run with it. So I booked a flight to LA, and I went to MèCHE, and I was so nervous. I think I wrote Tracy and was like, hey, I'm going to be in LA. Would love to come by and say hello. And she was like, yeah, definitely stop into the salon. So I went in and I met with her at the salon, and it was insane. Like, I'm going to try to find a video of the salon on my phone so I can show you just how busy this place is. Like, no one really gets it unless you've been there. But it's like so busy. And I went into the salon, and I'm not even exaggerating. Tracy was seeing 42 clients that day.
That's so crazy.
I think of how long it takes me to get my hair done, which is like 2 to 3 hours, and you're saying 42.
Is she such a I know they have assistants.
Yeah, there's a bunch of assistants in the whole thing, but it is like the way she does it, she's magic. It's like, I just don't understand, It's like it's insane. Anyway, but it works. And she saw 42 people. Wow. The salon was so busy. She was so sweet to me. She let me hang out for the full day, which was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And she asked me questions about myself, and I chatted with her, and she introduced me to the clients, and she introduced me to the staff. And she was just...
Were you on cloud 9 this day?
Oh yeah. Almost like pinch me.
Yeah, like I'm here.
Yeah, totally. It was insane. So, and then the day was winding down, and I knew it was the end, and I was like, oh God, I have to ask for a job, because I'm like, I can't fly all the way across the world or the continent and not like voice what I'm there for. You know what I mean? I'm just like, Chris, you have to, it's go time. So I remember at the end of the day, I went up to Tracy and I said, like, thank you so much for having me and things like that. And I would love to be part of the team one day here at the salon. And she sort of looked at me and was like, yeah, well, you'll have to talk to Neil, my business partner. He does all that sort of part of the business. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah. And so that was fine. I left, said thank you, went back to Toronto, and I wrote Neil an email. Neil and Tracy are business partners. I wrote Neil an email basically saying, hey, my name's Chris Greene, told him a little bit about myself. I was at the salon a little while ago. I met with Tracy. I really enjoyed it. I would love to one day work at your salon. And he wrote me back, which is crazy. Neil and I are friends, and we're friends now. And it's like, it's like not shocking to me that he took the time to write the email, but I know how busy he is.
Yeah.
And for him to take the time to write that email just is sort of cool and crazy. And again, part of my story that I always tell, it's like he wrote this email and he basically said, very nicely, but he said, like, we don't hire people from out of the country. We don't hire people that have an assisted here at our salon. And we don't hire people that do color and cut, because at MèCHE Salon and most salons in Beverly Hills, they're departmentalized, meaning you see someone for your color and then you see someone else for your cut. And the assistant part is we don't hire people that have assistants, meaning when you come to these salons, all of the colorists and stylists have assistants, and that assistant usually works with them for 2 to 3 to 4 years. And then at that time, if there's room at the salon, they're given a chair as opposed to somebody just coming in off the street. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And then that means that the salon, like, it just means the assistant kind of knows the lay of the land and how the salon works, and you know they're obviously their client relations, and also that their aesthetic and their how they do things are up to par for the salon. You know, it's like a really great way to just, you know,
vet
if the
people
person
before you let them in.
they've been there for 3 years, you know exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. And so he said with that, we don't hire people with lack of those things. But your work is beautiful. I can see that from your Instagram page, and Tracy really likes you. And so if you're ever in California or in LA, come by and like we'll have a chat. And so again, I was like, great. Well, he didn't close the door, you know what I mean? And so I wasn't as overzealous. I didn't go back right away, but I kind of gave it a month or two. And then I booked another trip to LA. I fly to LA and I go into the salon to meet Neil. And he kind of did this thing. I don't know if he did it on purpose or what it was, but he brought me into the salon and he kind of dropped me in the middle of the salon. He was like, oh, Chris, you know Tracy, and then kind of left me. And so I talked to Tracy for a little bit and her assistants who I had met last time I was there. And I think everyone at the salon or that works at the salon that saw me, I kind of stood out. I'm much taller than a lot of people and things. We're sort of like, oh, Chris, that guy is back again. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, what's that about? Anyway, whatever. Neil kind of left me, and I'm not sure if it was a sink or swim kind of thing. Like, I'm not sure if he was like, let's see what happens, or if he was busy and just had to leave me. I don't know. But either way, I was like, I'm not leaving. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be here. And so I found this guy, Frankie, that was sitting down in his chair on his phone. And he worked on Fashion Police, and I was such a Fashion Police fan. Joan Rivers, Kelly Osbourne, like
so good. I used to be obsessed with that show.
Me too.
It was so mean, but so good.
No, I'm not joking. Like Sunday nights when it was award season, I would order Pizza Hut and watch Fashion Police, and it was just my jam. Anyway,
I love the best.
So Frankie worked on the girls on that show. And so I was just so excited to see him. Also so nervous, but I was like, I can't leave, right? Like I want a job here. So I went over and introduced myself and was like, hey Frank, are you Frankie? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, you work on Fashion Police? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm such a big fan and I love the way you do their hair. And I think it had just sort of award season had just wrapped or something. And I was like, oh, I just brought something. And we just started chatting. And then a couple of the other guys and girls at the salon were like free as well. And they noticed that Frankie and I were chatting. So they came over and got in on the conversation and blah, blah. And then I think my friend Danny or Alyssa had sort of said like, oh, you're Chris Greene hair from Instagram with the pink background. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I follow you. And I'm like, yeah, I follow you too. It was like, you know, when you meet someone from Instagram, you don't really know if you know them or not, but then you're like, oh yeah, you're like,
I've seen you,
RO492. It's like, I know who you are, you know? Anyway, so we all sort of knew each other, so we started chatting. With that, Neil walks by and notices that I'm still there and I'm chatting to a few people. And he sort of like, I thought he gave me a look, sort of like, oh, okay, you're still here. Let me grab my water. So he grabbed his water bottle and we went over to the edge of the salon. We stood against the wall and he basically sort of like interviewed me, you know? He sort of asked me a number of questions. I remember him asking me like, so if you were to come here to Los Angeles to work, how would you build a clientele? Which is, you know, a fair question from the business owner. And I said to him like, well, I don't really know anybody, but it's a busy salon. So I'm hoping I would get booked clients. And I'm not the kind of person to toot my own horn, but I knew in that moment it was the time to do it. And so I said to him, I said, Neil, like if you book someone with me, I can guarantee they'll like their hair and they'll come back. And I think that's good for the owner to hear. It's like, feels weird for me to even say today, like that's cringe, but like, you know, I try to do my best and give girls gorgeous hair. And so he was
into, and you do.
Oh, thank you. He was into that, you know? Yeah. And I remember he asked me, he said, what do you do? Do you balayage? Do you foil? What do you do? And I foil primarily. But I said to him, I said, honestly, I do all of it. And I said, I would paint my client's hair with my toes if it was going to give me the look that I was going for. Or I said the look that we were going for, you know?
Yeah.
And I think Neil's kind of serious, and he's from England. He's got the accent, and he's the salon owner, right? Like, he's a big deal. And I think people are a little bit nervous, and I was nervous in that moment too, but I sort of answered it with like a silly answer, but the truth, it's like I would do whatever it took to make this hair gorgeous. And I think in that moment, I think he was also like, okay. Like, I think he liked it. I think he was like, oh, you're a little bit weird, but like, I like it. And you're friendly. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about you. I could feel it. And so we talked a bit more and asked me a few questions. And then he brought me over to the front desk where the manager was at the time. Her name's Minya. And she's so sweet and beautiful. And he brought me over. And again, when the stars align and things just sort of make sense, he brought me over and he said, Minya, he said, this is Chris Greene. And she went, oh my gosh, Chris Greene hair? She's like, I love you. She's like, I follow you on Instagram. I show you to all my girlfriends. It's like, I couldn't have paid her to say that. You know what I mean? Like,
You were like,
it was
thank you.
It was it was, again, a pinch me. Like, I was like,
You're like,
dang, how did
you're
that?
like, I love this moment.
It was great. And with that, Neil sort of gave me another look, sort of like, okay. Like,
How does everyone know who this guy
totally. It
This
was
guy
good.
from Toronto who's just randomly showed up at our salon. How do they know who he
Again,
is?
I always say the power of social media, right? Like,
Definitely.
I really used Instagram to like nurture those relationships, and people did know me. And Minya didn't know me, but she knew my Instagram, which was great. Anyway,
And you still have that profile picture.
I still have the same picture, with that
pink.
Paul Smith wall,
I love that.
Yeah, I like often want to change it, but I'm like, no, it's just so you can just
Iconic.
see it, like it's pink and easy, and you just know it's me. Anyway, so Neil left me in that moment, and I chatted with Minya, and I didn't know it at the time, but years later we went for dinner and we were just chatting about how I started at the salon and whatever. And he said he went over to Tracy and was sort of like, I really like that Chris Greene fellow. And Tracy was like, yeah, I really like him too. And and they just sort of chatted, and I think they were willing to give me a shot, which was just so crazy. And so, long story short, I went back to Canada. I got an email from Minya. They were wondering if I had my California state license, which I was working on. I was actually coming back to California to write the test, and I wasn't going to tell them that I was there unless I passed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I passed, I would go into the salon and be like, hey, I have my license. It's all good.
Hire me. I'm ready.
And if I didn't pass, they would never know that I was in
Yes.
there. I'm not a liar, and I couldn't lie. So when she asked, like, hey, do you have your license? I was like, oh, actually, I'm going to be there next Wednesday to write my test. And she said, great, we'll meet next Thursday. And I was like, oh my God, crap. But,
I need to pass
great, just to
this
add
test.
another layer of like stress to the whole thing. So I went, I wrote the test. It was intense, but I did it. I passed, and I went in. We talked about days that I would work and how the whole system works and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and then that was in like October, and then in December I packed up my apartment, shipped everything to Los Angeles, and then moved to LA in January.
Holy cow.
Oh God, that's such a long story, but
No,
But
it's the best.
that's
It's
the
so
story.
delightful.
On the edge of our seats though.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but tell us where you moved. What was the place like that you moved into the second time you moved to LA? It was a little bigger
Oh
than
yes, definitely. It was a nice place. Yeah.
You had a kitchen.
You had a kitchen sink.
I actually stayed with my friend. So Dee Daly, the makeup artist that I met in Toronto, she had moved to LA the year before me. So it was really great with all my questions about different things like banking and social insurance numbers and like just how the whole process worked. She was just such a godsend to know all those things that she could then relay to me. And so I actually slept on an air mattress in Dee's living room for the first week or two. And during that time, I don't drive. Like, I have my license and I could drive us anywhere, but like, I don't love to drive. And in LA, I was kind of like afraid to drive. and I didn't have a car, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to like it here, or should I'm not buying a car right away. Anyway, so I walked the neighborhoods around MèCHE, the salon that I was at. And I, went into this one apartment building one day and talked to the landlord, and that's the apartment that I moved into. So it was nice. It was a 1-bedroom on Doheny. I don't, if you know LA, it was like,
I know.
it was in a sweet little spot right across from the Four Seasons, and it was nice.
I only know the name of that street because I watch $1 Million Listing LA and stuff. And I feel like is it Doheny?
Doheny.
Yeah.
That's a fancy street.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris, you're a fancy guy.
No. It was a good apartment. It worked out, but yeah.
That's
and
so
yeah, so
exciting.
then I started my LA journey, which is like a whole other thing, but it was great.
I just can't believe it's so nice to hear kind of just your perseverance, but also how you would just set your next site. Like you had this goal, you don't even know why you had it, but you felt it.
Yeah.
And then you would just come up with that next step and tell everyone. We love that. Ashley says it all the time.
Yeah. You have to let it be known what you want.
Yes.
Put it out into the universe because you just never know.
Yeah,
when or how
the stars will align. And it just seems like Sarah and I believe in these things so much, and in you know what the universe or what's planned for you is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it feels like this just like lined up.
Yeah.
So you kept trying, you kept putting yourself out there, going to LA.
Yeah.
And it's just so amazing.
Yeah, crazy.
so much.
Lots of support from my family and friends. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. Yeah.
But it's nice how
It's
those
such a
people
risk.
came into your life at the right time. And
Yes.
so something I want to ask you is like, so now that, you're at MèCHE,
Yeah.
did it feel different being there
100%. Then
at the first salon in
it
LA?
really did. It did. And it's interesting. I sort of say this sometimes to hairdressers when I teach classes. It's like, even the way that I presented myself for MèCHE was different. Like, listen, again, I would have shampooed hair, swept the hair, assisted, done anything at MèCHE to get the job. But it's like, even that changed. It's like, even when I approached Tracy and Neil, it's like I was sort of more confident in my work. I don't know if it was because I had the television shows under my belt or those jobs with Tiff or what it was, but I just sort of like, I kind of like just, I don't know what it was.
You deserve to be there.
I never thought that, but like, I just sort of like, I approached it differently. It was interesting, So right from the beginning, it was just different. It was like, I am a hairstylist. I am confident in my work. Here it is. I believe it can stand up to what's going on in Los Angeles. And you know what I mean? I don't know. It was weird.
And you had that recognition from other people. I think that
so.
helps too.
Yeah, I think it was.
build
And like
confidence.
Instagram was so helpful. Like the photos were gorgeous and like the hair was beautiful. So it kind of spoke for itself, which was nice. It was different. And I felt more at home, obviously. Like I got hired to do my job. You know what I mean? So I was like,
You weren't compromising on your dream. Like,
listen, it was scary and very, very hard and overwhelming. And Neil would come to me and sort of pat me on the back and just sort of like, how you doing? And I'd be like, trying to stay afloat. You know what I mean? Like it's a different world and it's the big leagues, and it was hard, but I knew I was supported and I did everything I could and it was, but it definitely had that, I don't know what you call it, like star, like it was special.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
That's
you
like
know-
your dream
Yeah, it
job.
was. Yeah,
your
and
dream
and the
salon.
celebrities were coming and going, like which was all part of what I loved. You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
exciting, and the hair was just so beautiful. And yeah,
Can
and
you
the-
tell us a couple celebrities you do, or is that like on the DL?
No, yeah, like
Tell us a couple.
Yeah,
We love celebs.
Leslie Ann Brandt, she's on Lucifer, and Lauren German. I do Leslie Ann all the time, and I've done Lauren a bunch of times, and they're lovely. I did Christina Applegate
Oh, I love
for
Christina
a little
Applegate.
while, yeah, blonde, gorgeous. And I did Kate Beckinsale for like 3 years. We had a really good.
she's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
Love
she
that.
is gorgeous,
Yes, people love Kate Beckinsale, I find. Like,
and she's got the hair. Yeah, boys
I
love.
feel like Jeff is into her.
Yeah.
is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
with
feel
good,
like-
with good reason.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah, no.
I've been up close and personal. It's like, she's gorgeous and so sweet. Like
I love that.
yeah. Marissa Tomei.
Oh, yeah.
Marissa Tomei.
Oh,
did
she's
her.
cute. I
Yeah.
like her.
It was kind of like a little career highlight for me. I did her when she was, is it Aunt May in Spider-Man?
Yes.
And she was filming in Atlanta, so I would fly, like the Marvel would fly me from LA to New York to do her hair color, which was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
You're like,
you know
I'm
what I mean?
so
Like,
Marvel's
Yeah.
flying me in
Yeah.
here.
I think it was Marvel. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Whoever it was. It
It
was
sounds
like,
right.
that was special for me. You know what I mean? So I've had some really great moments with her. And then lots of one-offs, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That happens at the salon. And but
Well, now it's so different too because with social media, like I love the Real Housewives, all those the franchises, but like they're going on vacation, they're flying their hairstylists,
Yeah.
their their glam.
like,
Yes. this, Chris?
Yeah, it's cool.
People fly you to take care of them.
Yeah,
on their
like you
vacations. I
really
love
did
you. That's
reach that.
beautiful.
Yeah, like that goal that you had,
Yeah.
like that dream.
Yeah.
And so, can you kind of tell everyone you're here in Halifax?
Yes.
Mostly, what brought you back?
I came back when COVID hit. Kind of an interesting story. When COVID started last year, I do Rita Wilson's hair, style her hair a bunch. And
Just throw her name in there.
Well, I don't want to, but it's part of the story.
She's the best.
You know what I mean? So her and Tom, it had been reported that her and Tom got COVID when they were in Australia.
Yes.
And we were like,
Beautiful.
us at the salon were concerned because we all not know them, but you know what I mean? Like I work with Rita. And so I'm like, oh gosh, that's awful. You know, I hope they're okay and things. And it just made it really real. Because I think even being here in Halifax, it's like a lot of us don't have, what's that called? Like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah.
From, like, it's like, I don't know anyone who's had COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that made it so real. When Rita and Tom got it, it was like, oh my goodness, yikes, you know? Ugh. And then they were starting to throw around the word pandemic and things
Yeah.
like that. And so I had a talk with Neil at the salon and I said like, you know, I think I'm going to go back to Canada for a little while, thinking it was going to be like 3 or 4 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And so he said, I think that's a great idea. And he's often the voice of reason for me in LA. And like we bounce things off each other and things like
Yeah.
that. And when he had said like, you know what, I think it's a good idea that you go back to Canada for a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm going to go
should
back.
do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Full disclosure, I also needed a break. I was working 7 days a week. It's
Yeah.
quite intense. I'm not from that kind of culture. It's a lot, you know, and it
Yeah.
had been 5 or 6 years. Like it's tough, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it and I felt very fulfilled, but I also felt a little bit worn out
Yeah.
and burnt out. And so it was kind of like, you know, I'm going to go back to Canada for a minute. And so I went to Vancouver and stayed at my friend Marsha's house and we had the best time. I know it's a scary time and I hate to say that with COVID involved.
Yeah.
But you know, we washed our groceries and we watched Tiger King and we did the whole thing.
Yes.
It'll be a memory that we'll have forever. And then they started talking about the Atlantic bubble, and my parents are in Newfoundland, and my brother and his wife and kids, who I'm very close with. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll go back to Newfoundland before they close the borders. You know what I mean? And so I flew from Vancouver to Newfoundland, and then I self-isolated in my parents' basement. And then when the 2 weeks were up, I spent a lot of time with my mom and dad. My brother and his family were in their own bubble, and we weren't really seeing each other right away. But then as the weather got nicer and we started to learn more about COVID, we felt comfortable and we all got together and we actually had such an amazing summer. And we went to Fogo Island a few times. I don't know if you know where
Sarah
that
loves
is.
Fogo.
Yeah,
One of my best friends lives there. Yeah.
my dad's from Fogo.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
and my grandfather's house is there. That's in the family, so we go back there and stay. And we went, I think, 2 or 3 times this summer, and we just had the best time. Which again feels weird saying, but
But
like,
I think you appreciate the little things.
Listen.
And you were never taking vacations to go home to Newfoundland
No.
before
Spend time
this.
with your
not at
family.
all. It's like the little silver linings of COVID. You know what I mean? Like, I would never get to spend 6 months with my mom and dad since I went to hair school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In 2001, or my brother and his kids. So it's been a really special time.
Yeah.
Really and truly, and I love it so much. With that said, the falls came around and I was like, you know what? I haven't lived at home since high school. It's like, I think I need my own space. I just, also as somebody.
Listen, I feel you.
Yeah. And as someone who works with the public every day, it's like I'm very used to having my own space. Like when I'm not with people, I like to like be alone. You know, there's lots
Because
of
you're talking all day.
totally.
Too.
There's a lot of evenings that my parents or my girlfriends will FaceTime me and they'll be like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, sitting down and like, where are you? Because it's just pitch black. And I'm like, I'm just sitting in the dark for like a minute. I just need like a minute, you know?
Quiet,
So I'm
yeah.
very used to having my own space. And I was like, I think I need to have my own space. And with that said, my friend Johnny lives here in Halifax, one of my best friends that I've known since my Halifax days. And so I was like, maybe I want to go to Halifax because it's like, Halifax has grown so much. When I lived in California, I would always come home in the summer and at Christmas time and usually try to stop in Halifax most of the time around New Year's and just hang out with Johnny and like eat garlic fingers and walk around the city. And he'd point out all the new condo buildings and shops and restaurants. And then I would fly back to LA. And so I knew Halifax was growing, and I always have had such a fond feeling of Halifax. It's great. It's like a city, but it's small enough, but it's big enough. And I just loved it. Nothing against Toronto, but I just never really felt that way about Toronto. And also, to be fair, I always looked at Toronto as a stepping stone for me.
Yeah.
And so
it was never your home.
No, whereas Halifax did feel like home. I was here for 7 or 8 years, and it's the start of my career, and I just love it. Anyway, with that said, I was in Newfoundland. I was like, I need some space. I'm going to go to Halifax. So I came to Halifax and I rented a condo here, and I started seeing a few clients here and there at my friend Peter's salon, which he was so gracious to let me see some people out of. And I just really enjoyed it. And the numbers were really low and things were good. And then that was in the fall. Then Christmas came along and I knew I was going to be going home to see my family. But I needed to kind of make a decision, and things in America, just the COVID numbers were insane. And then just like the political climate was crazy, just a lot of things, like turn on the news. It's like
we've all been through this last year.
Yeah. And like things aren't great down there right now. You know what I mean? And I have friends that are still in LA that message me and say like, you're not really missing anything right now. People aren't getting their hair done 3 times a week to go for dinner at the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's just a different time.
Still need more time.
Yeah. Also, a lot of my clients had left Los Angeles to go to their homes in Napa or in Hawaii or wherever, or Montana, so it was like, I also knew that a lot of my people weren't there, and I don't really have family there. I have some close friends, but I just felt like I still need to be in Canada. And I don't want to be in my parents' basement. And so I thought, and so I was like, I think I'll do Halifax. And so I signed a year lease on this condo, which is gorgeous and I love, which makes me also feel really nice. I'm big into my own space, and I want to be comfortable. And this place is just so luxe that I love it.
On the waterfront.
Yeah. And so I rented the place for the year. And what I've sort of been saying to people is, I'm going to be here and seeing clients. So if you need your hair done, please send me an email.
Yes.
But
do it.
I think once I get vaccinated and things open up, I will definitely go back to LA. Will it be forever? I'm not sure. Will you be able to get your hair done if you're in LA? Definitely. But like, do you know what I mean? But I'm not sure.
I'm feeling it.
I just feel like this past year with COVID has given me a moment to like pump the brakes and slow down and really sort of analyze what I want and how I want my career to go and how I want to work day to day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want it to be as intense as it was. Like I think I was kind of like, what is that? Burning the candle at both ends. Like I just feel like it was just a lot, and I'm not sure exactly what I want. But I'm just sort of like taking a moment to be like, well, do I want to be in Canada? Do I want to be in LA? Do I want to do a bit of both? I'm not sure. And I'm not even making that decision yet.
But it's nice to have the time to think about that.
Totally. Yeah. And I just want to be safe, and I want to be close enough to my family that if, God forbid, anything ever did happen, I could get home easily. And it's not that easy between Canada and America. You know what I mean? Like, especially during COVID. So it's like, I just kind of, I'm here for now.
And LA's far. California's far. It's on the other
very far away
side.
Very far away.
Totally.
But I will be back to California. I know that for sure. But like,
you're not done there. No.
I'm not done there. No.
No.
Oh, I love that. But it's not, and it's nice to have that time, but it's nice that you're here.
I love it.
And it's like a little blessing, and that people can come and get their hair done by you, which is
we're hoping
dope.
Where can people get their locks touched by you right now, Chris? Or how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through Instagram or email. My Instagram is Chris Greene Hair, and Greene has an E at the end. And you'll find my email address on there. I think everyone has Instagram that's listening to a podcast. So
fair. And we'll tag it in the show notes too.
And I'm renting a chair at a small salon on Granville Street, which is so beautiful and perfect, and it's a great spot.
Shout out to Iron Salon.
Yes.
That's where we both get our hair done as well.
Iron
with
Salon.
our friend Sarah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
And
everyone's
Sarah and I worked together years ago at Thumpers, and Karen is there as well. And it's just a great little crew, and yeah, it's a nice feeling. I say that to the girls all the time when I'm in there. I'm like, gosh, I just love it here. Yeah.
Oh, we're so happy you're here.
Oh, I can't wait I'm going to have to come get a blowout.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I know I was in awe of Ash's hair the other day. So
I know.
Thank you. You both have gorgeous hair, so.
We'll have to do a hair party.
Yeah.
I know. I'm coming
We'll get
into
Sarah
the
in.
salon.
We'll get everyone.
Yeah.
So fun.
This is amazing. It's so nice to hear your story and like honestly reflect like how you reflect on it and can kind of break it down into these moments, and just nice to hear that you had that vision that started and even that you're going through that revisioning process now. So thank you for sharing all of this with us.
You're
It's
welcome.
lovely to hear.
And I think there's probably a lot of people listening that have felt that or maybe have their own aspirations or goals and they're like, oh, they hold themselves back or they're scared of rejection, whatever. But it's nice to hear like such a positive like story.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I wasn't born with that feeling of like rejection doesn't faze me. I don't know if it's a Newfie thing. I don't know. But it's like I just
rejection phases me. I was
Okay.
having like a meltdown last week.
Okay. I just sort of feel
Just go for it.
But actually, do you know what? And I am going to say this because I do think this is a Newfoundland thing, and I think you are happy to speak to anyone, and I think that comes from being in Newfoundland. We come from a place where we talk funny, people, and I think this happens sometimes in Atlantic Canada as a whole. But this is something that is very important to me and bothers me a lot, is that people sometimes underestimate people from Newfoundland because they talk funny and they don't think they're as smart or they don't think they're as bright. And first of all, those people are wrong.
Yes.
Because some of the brightest people I know come from there. But it's something that if you are aware of it, you can use it as your superpower.
Right.
And people think, we're foolish because we'll go up and talk to anyone. Oh,
Like
you're
unassuming.
And I'm like that, very much like that. People think I'm very unassuming. I'm not stupid.
Yes.
Like I know what I'm doing.
Totally.
And there's so much power in being someone that you make others feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And you're able to approach
Likeable.
people.
Yeah.
And I think you have that.
I'm sure that was
100%.
Oh, totally. I'm sure that's what Tracy and Neil saw in me. You know what I mean? Like
This Canadian boy.
make people feel comfortable at the salon, and I truly do, because I just want to make people feel good and look good. You know what I mean? And yeah.
You have that ability to just talk to anyone. And I think
I can feel
maybe
that.
that is a gift of Newfoundland.
Yeah, I don't know.
And even when I was in probably almost 2 months ago, because I'm due to get my hair done.
Oh, yeah.
When we had first met,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, you knew my brother, and I remember you didn't have a client at the time, so you came by the empty chair by Sarah, and you sat down, and I remember thinking he's so nice because we were talking the other day when I was in New York staying. I think it was the Gansevoort. There's like a
Yes.
beautiful salon in there, and I remember walking by a few times thinking like I should try and get a blowout or something. Like these people seem very legit and it's beautiful, but I was very intimidated because they just seemed like there was just like this aura around them. Yeah. And it was like, they were just like too cool for me. You know what I mean? But and I thought, okay, well, Chris is from LA. Like maybe am I going to feel like that? Like, no, you're so sweet. So I think that that's what helps people get ahead in life too, is just like being kind to others.
Yeah,
and like being
I agree.
down to earth. I always think my dad always said to me, like, the worst thing someone will say to you is no.
Totally.
And that is
Yes.
stuck in my head my whole life.
Yeah.
Because you realize, well, I'll just ask. If they say no, like, whatever.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. It's like, I always just thought, well, if it doesn't work, you just try another avenue, or
I'll still do hair in Halifax. or
totally.
Toronto.
Yeah. I just knew. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I do love how you've put yourself out there creatively, like even from the CD being mailed out with
So smart.
from the to the Instagram and just knowing what you were doing the whole way. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out again. You know, things change and Instagram has changed and there's TikTok now and Reels and all the things. And I'm here in my apartment just sort of thinking like, what am I going to do next? How am I going to like stay
Stand
relevant and keep it fresh, I guess.
Oh, but I feel like you'll get there because
I'll figure
all
it
these things that you're have told us, I'm in awe because I always see people doing them, but those don't come to me. So I'm just kudos.
Yeah,
But it's
thank
really
you.
nice to hear your story.
Thank you for letting me
figure out
share
how
it.
you got got to where you are. It's so nice.
But we're not done yet
yeah.
because this is our favorite part of the show.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be the favorite part of this show
right.
because this story is just amazing. We play Queeniegrams here, which is a made-up game of ours. It is very easy. All you do. Oh no, Ashley's got a question to ask you first.
Okay.
Oh yeah, very serious. Before we dive in, we just want to know. We love to ask all of our guests, what's lighting you up right now? Like, what are you the most excited about?
Oh gosh. Honestly,
yes,
I want to get vaccinated. It's like
that is what is
like it's on the horizon.
it's like I feel like I can see a little light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but like I'm just like I just sort of think the future is lighting me up.
Oh,
Having this
really
last
nice.
year to sort of recharge my batteries and just hopeful for the future.
I love that.
That's great. All right,
All
Sarah,
right, now
take it away.
Queeniegrams. So all you have to do is pick a number between 1 and 100 and 1, and I'll ask you a question, and we'll each do one and answer some fun
neat.
questions.
Okay.
So what number would you like, Chris?
78.
78. Here we go. Ooh, can you say cheers in another language?
No.
What?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll teach you on.
Chin chin.
Oh, there.
Is that one?
Well,
No,
that's
just
the same
kidding.
language, but that's a good one. Different country. Santé is in French.
Oh yeah.
Sante, okay.
Is
Giveli?
Yaldi? What's Yaldi mean?
Oh, Yaldi sounds like one. I don't know. Giveli
Yaldi?
is Croatian.
Gosh, you know so many.
And then Yamas is Greek.
This should have been your question, clearly.
You know so
No, but now you know though. Okay, this is my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are a few.
Okay.
So you've learned one.
Okay. Wait, give me one.
Santé.
Sante.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like to health
Okay, cute.
in French. So, that's relevant in Canada.
Yeah.
Sante.
Love that one.
Sante.
Ash, what question would you like? We're going to give you get 3 chances at this, Chris. So.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, like I pick another number eventually?
Well,
We're gonna pick one,
pick
but
one.
you're gonna have to answer it too. I'm gonna say 97.
Oh,
Hope it's a good one.
97. Here we go. If you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's so hard because you get so bored of the same thing. Could it be like smoothies?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
You can say whatever.
Because then I
you
can
want.
maybe like make different types of smoothies so I wouldn't get as bored. I don't know, but they're delicious.
All right. Chris, what about you? What would you eat for the rest of your life?
My first thought, I love garlic fingers so much. I just love them.
I love garlic fingers too. Sarah might have had some last night.
I did.
And then I was thinking brownies. And then I instantly went to like chicken and rice because that's probably what I should be eating forever. So
One
Let's
of
just
those
go
3.
garlic fingers.
garlic fingers.
We love. Oh, what am I going to eat for the rest of my life?
I almost said pizza, but we've had pizza a lot lately, so it's like,
I know pizza is what came to my mind because I was like, oh, you can mix it up. But I've
Pasta?
had
You like
so
pasta?
much pizza. Do you know what I'd actually pick right now? Because I'm just feeling like I need a vegetable is like stir fry.
Okay.
yeah.
Because that
You
could be
make
good in the
varieties.
morning. Yeah, and you could have like eggs in there. Oh, that sounds good to me right now.
That works.
I like that. I love rice.
I love that. Okay, I think we should do the Queeniegram of the month for Chris.
Yes,
this is going to be
a good
my
one
question.
for you, for sure.
What fad or trend do you hope comes back? And this
Ooh.
could even be with hair too. Whatever is in your heart.
God.
I know it's hard because a lot have come
Come
back.
back,
Like
yeah.
there's the clips.
I'm into the clips so much.
Can I
Yeah.
actually think about this for like a second and then like,
Someone wrote us. A bunch of people wrote us the other day. Actually,
I do
Look at
like
my phone.
butterfly clips.
Someone,
gosh,
someone
yeah.
responded to us on Instagram and said that they wanted fanny packs to come back. I was like, where have you been?
Didn't they?
They're back. They're everywhere.
And
They're
they're
like-
on their way out again.
I was going to say they're back and gone.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. I was like, wow, you really missed that one, honey.
Gosh.
For me, I'm gonna say the butterfly clips. I really do like those. And then I mean, a lot of the things I like.
Mark,
I'm
you're
very
into
excited
fashion.
because I feel like we are in the season of preppiness right now. And although I don't think I dress purely preppy, I do love pleated skirts.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Cute.
am so amped for that. That makes me excited.
Okay, this isn't a good answer, I don't think. It's not like a specific thing, but it's something that I would like to talk about.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Addison Rae's performance on Jimmy Kimmel?
No. Tell us.
It's amazing. She's it's like so Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, 1999.
Oh, like
the hair, the makeup. She's wearing like low-rise pants.
Stop.
It's like the dancing. I'm just like here for it.
Okay.
Okay, but we're not into the low-rise pants.
I know you guys aren't.
Because we have to wear them,
I know.
Chris. You don't have to wear them.
Like my butt would come out of the low-rise pant in the back.
But if you pull it up after, we'll watch it together.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love it. But you're into that vibe.
That was like my heyday.
Okay.
Like high school with all those like teen pop stars.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
Actually, you know what?
like
This is
that.
a really nice, like, full circle moment because that's how we started this whole conversation.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I love this.
What would you do, Sarah? Or what would you want to come back?
No, I said
She said the preppy
the
fashions.
pleated skirts.
Oh,
and
sorry. I didn't know if that was off. We'll not in the interim. Very cool. I don't know. I'm just going to say that I'm happy sneakers came back.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
I freaking love sneakers.
And comfortable.
I know, but like
Yeah.
with dresses, I remember years ago seeing someone with a really cute sundress on. This was a while ago, and she had like similar to what I have, just like the superstar plain white sneakers on, and I thought like that is so out. Like I thought that was like a lot. Like I would never wear.
Oh, was it like
sneakers.
European?
I just would never wear sneakers with the
European,
dress.
yeah.
Because they're hitting the streets.
Yeah.
They got to walk everywhere.
New York's very much like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I can't wait to go to New York.
I love New York. So I usually have gone for probably the last, before we were married, so maybe like 12 years, at least once a year.
Yeah.
And this is the first year. I've never gone.
We'll have to go.
Let's go.
I love this.
Sarah will come.
Chris, thank you so much for coming on. with us today.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having
amazing.
me.
So
Thank you
fun.
for having me.
It's been so nice to hear your story and get to know you. And
Welcome
Thank you.
back to Halifax.
Thank you so much.
everyone, you can reach out to Chris through Instagram and you can get your hair done if you're in Halifax.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll have his link in the show notes.
Thank you.
Thanks.